Shabbat Shalawam, Israel. Shabbat Shalawam, Shabbat Shalawam. So today is the Shabbat, and we will keep it Qadash, holy, set apart. I will be reading the Book of Yahushua, Joshua. We're gonna see how far we get through this. I'm on a journey to reading the Torah all the way through, whilst also taking my time with it, meditating on His Word, and allowing the Father to truly guide me wherever He may take me. So today I'm going to be reading from the Hallelujah Scriptures. They have the Most High's pictograph Hebrew name in this Bible. I've got a lot of mixed reviews from this Bible, the Hallelujah Scriptures. So just for edification and background, all my life I've been reading Shalawam. Welcome in. You can come up if you want. All of my life I've been reading from the KJV. So from the KJV to Hebrew Israelite Scriptures Bible, which is the 1611 Gold Edition KJV. And then now I'm reading from the Hallelujah Scriptures, only because, for one, it's something that I've truly been interested in reading. But I always go back to KJV. I don't know if that's, I'm on my journey with different Bibles. So Shalawam, Shabbat Shalawam. I know it's been a while. But I will be reading from the Book of Yahushua or Joshua, all right, in my Hallelujah Scriptures. But Shabbat Shalawam to all of you. Anyone is able to come up in this live and many lives that I like to do. I'm not about debate, and I'm not about to argue, especially on the Most High set apart day. All right, this is a day we keep Qadash, holy, set apart, so there will not be any debates about that. If you want me to read something, if it, has something to do with the Most High, of course I will read it. But yeah, so Shalawam, and Shabbat Shalawam. All right, so we're going to read chapter 1 in Yehoshua, also known as Joshua, and I'm reading from the Hallelujah Scriptures. All right. Chapter 1. And it came to be after the unalivement of Mosheh, the servant of Yahuah, that Yahuah spoke to Yehoshua, son of Nun, the assistant, and Mosheh, saying, Mosheh, my servant, is unalived. So now arise, pass over this Yarden, you and all this people, to the land which I am giving to them, to the children of Yashar'el. Every place on which the sole of your foot treads, I have given you, as I spoke to Mosheh, from the wilderness and this Lebanon, even as far as the great river, the river Parath, all the land of the Hittites, and to the great sea toward the going down of the sun is your border. No man is going to stand before you all the days of your life. Let me just stop right there. I wanted to update my moderators just a bit. So let's see. I'm going to add you as a moderator, Ak Buffalo, if you don't mind. All right. And I can already tell AI has advanced because it's letting you all know, at least from my screen, that I'm reading the Book of Yahushua. All right. So Shabbat Shalawam, if you came into the room and I have not greeted you, I'm reading from the Book of Yahushua. All right. Yeah. So we were at verse 5. No man is going to stand before you all the days of your life. As I was with Mosheh, so I am with you. I do not fail you nor forsake you. Be strong and courageous, for you are to let this people inherit the land which I swore to their fathers to give them. Only be strong and very courageous, to guard to do according to all the Torah which Mosheh my servant commanded you. Do not turn from it right or left, so that you act wisely wherever you go. Do not let this book of the Torah depart from your mouth, but you shall meditate on it day and night, so that you guard to do according to all that is written in it. For then you shall make your way prosperous and act wisely. Have I not commanded you? Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid, nor be discouraged. For Yahuah your Elohim is with you wherever you go. And Yehoshua commanded the officers of the people, saying, Pass through the midst of the camp, and command the people, saying, Prepare food for yourselves, for within 3 days you are passing over this Jordan to go in to possess the land which Yahuah your Elohim is giving you to possess. Again, this is the book of Yahushua, Joshua, and we are reading verse 12. If you'd like to follow in, if you'd like to join me, you can definitely do so by clicking the two people button down below. All right, and Shabbat Shalom to any one of you who came in. Verse 12. And Yehoshua spoke to the Reubenites, and to the Gadites, and to half the tribe of Manasseh, saying, Remember the word which Mosheh, servant of Yahuah, commanded you, saying, Yahuah is your Elohim, is giving you rest, and he shall give you this land. Let your wives, your little ones, and your livestock stay in the land which Mosheh gave you beyond the Jordan. But you shall pass before your brothers armed, all your brave fighters, and shall help them until Yahuah has given your brothers rest as unto you. So shall they also take possession of the land which Yahuah your Elohim is giving them. Then you shall return to the land to your possession, and shall possess that which Mosheh the servant of Yahuah gave you beyond the Jordan, toward the rising of the sun. And they answered Yehoshua, saying, All that you have commanded us we do, and wherever you send us we go. According to all that we obeyed Mosheh, so we obey you. Only let Yahuah your Elohim be with you, as he was with Mosheh. Hey, welcome in, Shabbat Shalom, sis. We are on in the book of Yahushua, chapter 1, verse 18. I'm reading from the Hallelujah Scriptures. If anyone would like to come up, you may. And Shabbat Shalom. Whoever rebels against your command and does not obey your words, and all that you command him is put to an alignment. Only be strong and courageous. And Yehoshua, son of Nun, secretly sent out 2 men from Shittim to spy, saying, Go, see the land of Jericho. And they went and came to the house of a woman, a whore, and her name was Rahab. And they lay down there. But it was reported to the sovereign of Jericho, saying, See, men from the children of Yashar'el have come here tonight to search out the land. And the sovereign of Jericho sent to Rahab, saying, Bring out the men who have come to you, who have entered your house, for they have come to search out all the land. Again, this is chapter 2, verse 4 in the book of Yahushua, or Yahushua, also known as Joshua. Shabbat Shalom. If you'd like to come up, you may. If you'd like to just be down in the comments, you may also be here. All right. Okay. Verse 4. But the woman had taken the 2 men and hid them. So she said, The men came to me, but I did not know where they were from. Then it came to be as the gate was being shut, when it was dark, that the men went out. I do not know where the men went. Pursue them quickly so that you overtake them. But she had brought them up to the roof and hidden them with the stalks of flax, which she had laid out on the roof. And the men pursued them by the way to the Jordan, to the fords, and they shut the gate afterwards, as soon as the pursuers had gone out. And before they lay down, she came up to them on the roof, and she said to the men, I know that Yahuah has given you the land, and that the fear of you has fallen on us, and that all the inhabitants of the land melt away because of you. Verse 10. For we have heard how Yahuah dried up the water of the sea of reeds for you when you came out of Mizraim, and what you did to the 2 sovereigns of the Amorites who were beyond the Jordan, Sihon and Og, whom you put under the ban. And when we heard, our hearts melted, and there was no spirit left in anyone because of you. For Yahuah your Eluah, he is Eluah in the Shamayim, above and on earth beneath. And now please swear to me by Yahuah, since I have shown you kindness, that you also show kindness to my father's house, and shall give me a true token, and shall spare my father and my mother, and my brothers and my sisters, and all that they have, and shall deliver our lives from unalivement. Oh, we have a guest. Shabbat Shalom, Estella. Shabbat Shalom. Welcome everyone into the room. My name is Miracle, also known as Vegan Hebrew. I'm here reading the Book of Yahushua, also known as Joshua. If you'd like to come up, you may. This is not a debate room or live. We are calmly reading the Torah in hopes that we can be hearers, seers, and doers of the word. All right. So I am on chapter 2 of Joshua, verse 14. If you want to come back again, Estella, you can. And the men said to her, our lives for yours. If you do not expose this matter of ours, then it shall be, when Yahuah has given us the land, that we shall treat you in kindness and truth. So she let them down by a rope through the window, for her house was on the city wall, and she dwelt on the wall. And she said to them, go to the mountain, lest the pursuers come upon you, and you shall hide there the 3 days until the pursuers have returned, and afterwards go on your way. And the men said to her, we are released from this oath of yours, which you have made us swear, unless when we come into the land, you bind this line of scarlet cord in the window through which you let us down. And unless you bring your father and your mother and your brothers and all of your father's household to your own home. And it shall be that anyone who goes outside the doors of your house into the street, his blood is on his own head, and we are innocent. And anyone who is with you in the house, his blood is on our head, if a hand is laid on him. Shalawam, Shabbat Shalawam, everyone. Welcome in. If I haven't welcomed you, welcome, welcome. Verse 20, chapter 2. And if you expose this matter of ours, then we shall be released from your oath, which you made us swear. And she said, let it be according to your words. And she sent them away, and they went. And she bound the scarlet cord in the window. So they left and came to the mountain and stayed there 3 days until the pursuers returned. And the pursuers sought them in all the way, but did not find them. Then the 2 men returned and came down from the mountain and passed over. And they came to Yehoshua, son of Nun, and related to him all that had befallen them. And they said to Yehoshua, truly Yahuah has given all the land into our hands, and also all the inhabitants of the land that have melted away before us. Chapter 3. Shalawam and Dawada for all the love in the chat. I appreciate all the likes. All right. Chapter 3. And Yehoshua rose early in the morning, and they departed from Shittim and came to the Jordan, he and all the children of Yashar'el, and stayed there before they passed over. And it came to be after 3 days that the officers went into the midst of the camp. And they commanded the people, saying, when you see the ark of the covenant of Yahuah your Elohim, and the Kohanim, the Levites, bearing it, then you shall depart from your place and follow it. Only keep a distance between you and it, about 2,000 amah by measure. Do not come near it, so that you know which way to go, for you have not passed over this way before. And Yehoshua said to the people, Qadash yourselves, for tomorrow Yahuah is doing wonders in your midst. And Yehoshua spoke to the Kohanim, saying, take up the ark of the covenant and pass over before the people. So they took up the ark of the covenant and went before the people. And Yahuah said to Yehoshua, this day I begin to make you great before the eyes of all Israel, so that they know that I am with you, as I was with Mosheh. Shalom, shalom. Anyone may come up as long as you follow the Torah and keep these commandments. You may come up and read with me or listen in. It's about shalom today. All right. Shabbat Shalawam to everyone. We are on chapter 3, verse 7, going into 8. And do command the Kohanim who bear the ark of the covenant, saying, when you come to the edge of the water of the Jordan, stand in the Jordan. And Yehoshua said to the children of Israel, come near and hear the words of Yahuah your Elohah. And Yehoshua said, by this you shall know that the living El is in your midst, and that he is certainly driving out from before you the Canaanites, and the Hittites, and the Hivites, and the Perizzites, and the Girgashites, and the Amorites, and the Jebusites. See, the ark of the covenant of the Adon of all the earth is passing over before you into the Jordan. And now take for yourselves 12 men from the tribes of Israel, one man from every tribe. And it shall be as soon as the soles of the feet of the Kohanim, who bear the ark of Yahuah, the Adon of all the earth, come to rest in the waters of the Jordan, that the waters of the Jordan are cut off, the waters that come down from upstream and stand as a heap. And it came to be, when the people departed from their tents to pass over the Jordan with the Kohanim, bearing the ark of the covenant before the people. And as those bearing the ark came to the Jordan, and the feet of the Kohanim bearing the ark dipped in the edge of the water, now the Jordan overflows all its banks during all the time of harvest, that the waters came down from upstream, stood still, and rose in a heap very far away from Adam. The city that is beside Saratan, Shalaki if I mispronounce that word, Saratan, and the waters going down into the sea of the Arabah, the salt sea, were completely cut off, and the people passed over opposite Jericho. And the Kohanim, bearing the ark of the covenant of Yahuah, stood firm on dry ground in the midst of the Jordan. And all Yashar'el passed over on dry ground until all the nation had completely passed over the Jordan. Chapter 4. Shalawam, shalawam to any newcomers. The water for all the love. Appreciate you guys for getting me to 1K likes. My name is Miracle, also known as Vegan Hebrew, and I am reading the Book of Joshua or Yahushua, and we are going into chapter 4. For all those who want to read along, you may do so. If you'd like to come up, you can as well. This is not a debate live. This is a set apart, Kodash live. So let's be in shalom today. All right. Chapter 4. And it came to be, when the entire nation had completely passed over the Jordan, that Yahuah spoke to Yehoshua, saying, take for yourselves 12 men from the people, one man from every tribe, and command them, saying, take for yourselves 12 stones from here, out of the midst of the Jordan, from the place where the Kohanim's feet stood firm, and you shall bring them with you, and leave them in the camp in which you spend the night. And Yehoshua called the 12 men whom had appointed from the children of Yisrael, one man from every tribe. And Yehoshua said to them, pass over before the ark of Yahuah your Elohah into the midst of the Jordan, and each one of you take up a stone on his shoulder, according to the number of the tribes of the children of Israel, so that this shall be a sign in your midst when your children ask in time to come, saying, what do these stones mean to you? Then you shall answer them that the waters of the Jordan were cut off before the ark of the covenant of Yahuah. When it passed over the Jordan, the waters of the Jordan were cut off. And these stones shall be for remembrance to the children of Israel forever. Shalawam, Shabbat Shalawam, Lola. Shabbat Shalawam. We are reading from the book of Joshua, Yahushua. I believe we're in chapter 4, verse 8. You are willing to come up if you want to. All right. Verse 8. And the children of Israel did so as Yehoshua commanded, and took up 12 stones from the midst of the Jordan, as Yahuah had spoken to Yehoshua, according to the number of the tribes of the children of Israel, and took them over with them to their camp, and laid them down there. Yehoshua also put up 12 stones in the midst of the Jordan, in the place where the feet of the Kohanim who bore the ark of the covenant stood, and they are there to this day. And the Kohanim who bore the ark stood in the midst of the Jordan until every matter was finished, that Yahuah had commanded Yehoshua to speak to the people, according to all that Mosheh had commanded Yehoshua. And the people hastened and passed over. And it came to be, when all the people had completely passed over, that the ark of Yahuah and the Kohanim passed over in the presence of the people. And the sons of Reuben and the sons of Gad and half the tribe of Manasseh passed over armed before the children of Israel, as Mosheh had spoken to them. About 40,000 armed ones of the army passed over before Yahuah for battle to the desert plains of Yahusha. On that day, Yahuah made Yehoshua great before the eyes of all Israel, and they revered him as they had revered Mosheh all the days of his life. And Yahuah spoke to Yehoshua, saying, Command the Kohanim who bear the ark of the witness, and let them come up from the Jordan. And Yehoshua commanded the Kohanim, saying, Come up from the Jordan. And it came to be, when the Kohanim who bore the ark of the covenant of Yahuah had come from the midst of the Jordan, and the soles of the Kohanim's feet touched the dry land, that the waters of the Jordan returned to their place, and flowed over all its banks as before. Verse 19. And the people came up from the Jordan on the 10th day of the first month, and they camped in Gilgal on the east border of Jericho. And those 12 stones which they took out of the Jordan, Yehoshua put up in Gilgal. And he said to the children of Israel, saying, When your children ask their fathers in time to come, saying, What are these stones? Then you shall let your children know, saying, Yashar'el passed over this Jordan on dry land. For Yahuah your Elohim dried up the waters of the Jordan before you until you had passed over, as Yahuah your Elohim did to the sea of reeds, which he dried up before us until we had passed over, so that all the peoples of the earth shall know the hand of Yahuah, that it is strong, so that you shall revere Yahuah your Elohim forever. Shalom, Shalawam, Shalawam, and Shabbat Shalawam. Today we are reading from the book of Joshua, or Yahushua. We are currently reading chapter 5, verse 1. If anyone wants to come up to read with me or just to listen in and show support, please do so by clicking the two people button at the bottom. All right. Chapter 5. And it came to be, when all the sovereigns of the Amorites who were beyond the Jordan westward, and all the sovereigns of the Canaanites who were by the sea, heard that Yahuah had dried up the waters of the Jordan from before the children of Israel, until we had passed over, that their heart melted, and there was no spirit in them any longer, because of the children of Israel. All that time Yahuah said to Yehoshua, Make knives of flint for yourself, and circumcise the sons of Israel again, the second time. So Yehoshua made knives of flint for himself and circumcised the sons of Yashar'el at the hill of foreskins. And this is why Yehoshua circumcised them. All the people who came out of Mizraim, who were males, all the men of battle had unalived in the wilderness on the way after they had come out of Mizraim. For all the people who came out had been circumcised, but all the people who were born in the wilderness on the way as they came out of Mizraim had not been circumcised. For the children of Israel walked 40 years in the wilderness, till all the nation, the men of battle, who came out of Mizraim, were consumed, because they did not obey the voice of Yahuah, to whom Yahuah swore not to show them the land which Yahuah had sworn to their fathers that he would give us, a land flowing with milk and honey. And Yehoshua circumcised their sons, whom he raised up in their place, for they were uncircumcised, for they were uncircumcised, because they had not been circumcised on the way. And it came to be, when they had completed circumcising all the nation, that they stayed in their places in the camp till they were healed. And Yahuah said to Yehoshua, Today I have rolled away the reproach of Mizraim from you. So the name of the places is called Gilgal to this day. And the children of Israel camped in Gilgal and performed the Pesach on the 14th day of the month at evening on the desert plains of Yahuah. And they ate of the stored grain of the land on the morrow after the Pesach unleavened bread and roasted grain on this same day. And the manna ceased on the day after they had eaten the stored grain of the land. And the children of Israel no longer had manna, but they ate the food of the land of Canaan that year. And it came to be, when Yehoshua was by Jericho, that he lifted his eyes and looked and saw a man standing opposite him with his sword drawn in his hand. And Yehoshua went to him and said to him, Are you for us or for our adversaries? And he said, No, for I have now come as captain of the host of Yahuah. And Yehoshua fell on his face to the earth and did obeisance, and said to him, What is Adonai Elohah saying to his servant? And the captain of hosts of Yahuah said to Yehoshua, Take your sandal off your foot, for the place where you stand is Kodash. And Yehoshua did so. Shalom and Shabbat Shalom. Shalom and Shabbat Shalawam to everyone in the live. Please keep tapping. It helps the live get out to many people who may need to hear the word today. All right. We are reading from the book of Joshua or Yahushua in the Hallelujah scriptures. All right. If anyone wants to join me, you may. All you have to do is press the two people icon to come up. All right. We're going to start reading chapter 6 in 1 second. Okay, I am back. Chapter 6, verse 1. And Jericho was shut up tight because of the presence of the sons of Israel, none going out and none coming in. And Yahuah said to Yehoshua, See, I have given Jericho and its sovereign, mighty brave men, into your hand. And you shall go around the city, all the men of battle going around the city once. Do this for 6 days. And let 7 Kohanim bear 7 rams' horns before the ark. And on the 7th day, go around the city 7 times while the Kohanim blow the horns. And it shall be when they make a long blast with the ram's horn, and when you hear the sound of the horn, that all the people shout with great shout, and the wall of the city shall fall down flat, and the people shall go up, every man straight before him. And Yehoshua son of Nun called the Kohanim and said to them, take up the ark of the covenant, and let 7 Kohanim bear 7 ram horns before the ark of Yahuah. And he said to the people, pass over and go around the city, and let him who is armed pass over before the ark of Yahuah. And it came to be, when Yehoshua had spoken to the people, that the 7 Kohanim bearing the 7 rams' horn before Yahuah passed over and blew the horns, and the ark of the covenant of Yahuah went after them. And the armed men went before the Kohanim, who blew the horns, and the rear guard came after the ark, going on and blowing the horns. But Yehoshua had commanded the people, saying, do not shout or cause your voice to be heard, nor let any word come out of your mouth, until the day I say to you, shout, then you shall shout. And the ark of Yahuah went around the city, going around once, and they came into the camp and stayed in the camp. Verse 12. Shalom, Shabbat Shalawam. We are here reading the book of Joshua or Yahushua in the book of the Hallelujah Scriptures. All right, you're welcome to come join us. You can also request to come up and read along with me. But Shabbat Shalom to all of you here. Verse 13, chapter 6. And 7 Kohanim bearing 7 ram horns before the ark of Yahuah were walking, going on, and they blew the horns, and the armed men went before them. But the rear guard came after the ark of Yahuah, going on, and blowing the horns. And the 2nd day they went around the city once and returned to the camp. Thus they did 6 days. And it came to be on the 7th day that they rose early about the dawning of the day, and went around the city 7 times in this way. Only on that day they went around the city 7 times. And it came to be at the 7th time, when the Kohanim blew the horns, that Yehoshua said to the people, shout, for Yahuah has given you the city. And the city shall put under the ban. It and all that is in it belongs to Yahuah. Only Rahab the whore is to live, she and all who are with her in the house, because she hid the messengers that we sent. And you, by all means, guard yourselves from which is under the ban, lest you come under the ban when you take of that which is under the ban, and make the camp of Yashar'el a curse, and shall trouble it. But all the silver and gold, vessels of bronze and iron, and Kadesh to Yahuah, they go into the treasury of Yahuah. And the people shouted when the ram's horns were blown. And it came to be, when the people heard the sound of the horn, and the people shouted with great shout, that the wall fell down flat. And the people went up into the city, every man straight before him. And they captured the city. And they put under the ban all that was in the city, both man and woman, young and old, and ox and sheep, and donkey with the edge of the sword. And to the 2 men who had spied out out the land, Yahusha said, "Go into the house of the woman, the whore, and from there bring out the woman and all that she has, as you swore to her." And the young men, the spies, went in and brought out Rahab and her father and her mother and her brothers and all that she had. So they brought out all her relatives and put them outside the camp of Yisrael. And they burned the city and all that was in it with fire. Only the silver and gold and the vessels of bronze and of iron they put into the treasury of the house of Yahuah. However, Yehoshua kept alive Rahab the whore and her father's household and all that she had, and she dwelt in the midst of Israel to this day, because she hid the messengers whom Yahushua sent to spy out Yehoshua. And Yahushua warned them at that time, saying, "Cursed is the man before Yahuah who rises up and builds this city Yehoshua. He lays its foundation with his firstborn, and with his youngest he puts up its gates." And Yahuah was with Yehoshua, and a report about him was in all the land. Hallelujah. Welcome in, Barakatah, Shalawam, and Shabbat Shalawam to all those who observe and keep this day, Kodash, holy. I hope you are enjoying the book of Joshua as I am. I am on a journey of completion of the Torah within time and, of course, with the Most High's guidance. So be with me as we read the book of Joshua or Yahushua. We are going to read chapter 7. I believe I'm going to read as much as I can get through today before I start to pray and meditate onto the word of Yahuwah. All right. So I hope you are enjoying your Shabbat. Let me know in the comments where what state you from, if I don't know you already. Shalawam, shalawam. All right. Moving on to chapter 7, verse 1 in the book of Joshua. But the children of Yisrael committed a trespass regarding that which is under the ban. For Achan, son of Kamari, son of Zabdi, the son of Zerah, of the tribe of Yehudah, took of that which is under the ban. And the displeasure of Yahuah burnt against the children of Israel. Now Yahusha sent men from Jericho to Ai, which is beside Beth Awen, on the east side of Beth El, and spoke to them, saying, "Go up and spy out the land." And the men went up and spied out Ai. And they returned to Yahushua and said to him, "Let not all the people go up, but let about 2,000 or 3,000 men go up and smite Ai. Do not make all the people toil up there, for the people of Ai are few." And about 3,000 men went up there from the people, but they fled before the men of Ai. And the men of Ai smote about 36 men, for they pursued them from before the gate as far as Shebarim, and smote them on the descent. So the hearts of the people melted and became like water. And Yehoshua tore his garments and fell to the earth on his face before the ark of Yahuwah until evening, both he and the elders of Israel, and they put dust on their heads. And Yehoshua said, Oh, Lord, Yahuwah, why have you brought this people over the Jordan at all, to give us into the hand of the Amorites, to destroy us? If only we had been content to stay beyond the Jordan. O Yahuwah, what do I say when Israel turns its back before its enemies, and the Canaanites and all the inhabitants of the land hear, and shall surround us and cut off our name from the earth? What then do you do for your great name? And Yahuah said to Yehoshua, "Rise up. Why are you lying on your face? Yisrael has sinned, and they have also transgressed my covenant, which I commanded them. And they have even taken some of that which I under the ban, and have both stolen and deceived, and also put it among their own goods. And the sons of Yisrael shall not be able to stand before their enemies. They are going to turn their backs before their enemies, for they have become accursed. I am not with you anymore, unless you destroy that which is under the ban from your midst. Rise up, Kadash the people, and you shall say, Kadash yourself for tomorrow, because thus said Yahuah Eluah of Yisrael, that which is under the ban is in your midst. O Yisrael, you are not able to stand before your enemies until you put away that which is under the ban out of your midst. And you shall be brought near in the morning, according to your tribes. And it shall be the tribe which Yahuah takes comes according to clans. And the clan which Yahuah takes comes by households. And the household which Yahuah takes comes by men. And it shall be that he who is taken with that which is under the ban is burned with fire, he and all that he has, because he has transgressed the covenant of Yahuah, and because he has committed wickedness in Yisrael. So Yehoshua arose early in the morning and brought Yisrael by their tribes, and the tribe of Yehudah was taken. And he brought the clan of Yehudah, and he took the clan of Sarhides, and he brought the clan of Sarhides by men, and Zabdi was taken. And he brought his household by men, and Achan, son of Kamari, son of Zabidi, son of Sarah, of the tribe of Yehudah, was taken. Then Yahusha said to Achan, My son, now give esteem to Yahuah, Eluah of Yisrael, and make confession to him, and please declare to me what you have done. Do not hide it from me. Shalawam, Shalawam, and Shabbat Shalawam. Today we are reading from the Book of Joshua or Yahushua. We are currently in chapter 7, verse 20. If you'd like to read along, you may come up if you will. We are not a debate live, but we are here to be Kodash, to be set apart, and to keep this day holy. All right. Let's continue. Verse 20, chapter 7. So Achan answered Yehoshua and said, Truly I have sinned against Yahuah, Eluah of Yisrael, and this is what I did. When I saw among the spoil a lovely garment from Shinar, and 200 shekels of silver, and a wedge of gold weighing 50 shekels, I coveted them and took them. And see, they are hidden in the ground in the midst of my tent, with the silver under it. And Yehoshua sent messengers, and they ran to the tent, and see, it was hidden in his tent, with the silver under it. And they took them from the midst of the tent, brought them to Yehoshua and to all the children of Israel, and laid them out before Yahuah. Then Yehoshua and all Yisrael with him took Achan, son of Zerah, and the silver, and the garment, and the wedge of gold, and his sons, and his daughters, and his oxen, and his donkeys, and his sheep, and his tent, and all that he had, and they brought them to the valley of Achor. And Yehoshua said, Why have you troubled us? Yahuah troubles you today. Then all Israel stoned him with stones, and they burned him with fire after they had stoned them with stones. And they raised over him a great heap of stones, which remains to this day. Then Yahuah turned from the fierceness of his displeasure. Therefore the name of that place has been called the Valley of Achor to this day. Don't play. Okay, like, ooh. All right. I'll say my uh I'll definitely say my piece on this later, or maybe I'll put it in a post. But shalom, shalom, everyone. Shabbat shalom. Today we are reading the book of Joshua, Yahushua, chapter 8, verse 1. And welcome in, welcome in, welcome in. All right. Chapter 8, verse 1. And Yahuah said to Yehoshua, do not be afraid, nor be discouraged. Take all the soldiers with you and arise. Go up to Ai. See, I have given into your hand the sovereign of Ai, and its people, and its city, and its land. So you shall do to Ai and to its sovereign as you did to Jericho and its sovereign. Only its spoil and its livestock you take as plunder for yourselves. Lay for yourselves an ambush for the city behind it. And Yahushua and all the soldiers rose up to go up to Ai. And Yahushua chose 30,000 mighty, brave men and sent them away by night and commanded them, saying, see, you are going to lie in ambush against the city behind the city. Do not go very far from the city, but all of you shall be prepared, while I and all the people who are with me approach the city. And it shall be, when they come out against us as formerly, that we shall flee before them. And they shall come out after us till we have drawn them from the city, as though saying, they are fleeing before us as formerly, and we shall flee before them. Then you shall rise from the ambush and seize the city, and Yahuah your Eluah shall give it into your hand. And it shall be, when you capture the city, that you burn the city with fire. Do according to the word of Yahuah. See, I have commanded you. And Yahushua sent them out, and they went to lie in ambush and stayed between Yashar'el and Ai, on the west side of Ai. But Yahushua stayed that night in the midst of the people. And Yahushua rose up early in the morning and inspected the people, and went up, he and the elders of Yashar'el, before the people of Ai. And all the soldiers who were with him went up and drew near, and came before the city, and camped on the north side of Ai, with the valley between them and Ai. And he took about 5,000 men, and placed them in ambush between Bethael, and Ai, on the west side of the city. So they stationed the people, all the army that was on the north of the city, and its rear guard on the west of the city. And Yehoshua went that night into the midst of the valley. And it came to be, when the sovereign of Ai saw it, that the men of the city hastened and rose up early, and went out against Yashar'el to battle, he and all of his people, at an appointed place before the desert plain. But he did not know that there was an ambush against him behind the city. And Yehoshua and all Yisrael let themselves be beaten before them, and fled by the way of the wilderness. And all the people who were in Ai were called together to pursue them. And they pursued Yehoshua, and were drawn away from the city. So there was not a man left in Ai or Bethel who did not go out after Yisrael. And they left the city open and pursued Yisrael. And Yahuah said to Yehoshua, stretch out the spear that is in your hand toward Ai, for I give it into your hand. And Yehoshua stretched out the spear that he had in his hand toward the city. And the ambush rose up quickly from their place, and they ran at the stretching out of his hand, and entered the city, and took it, and hastened to burn the city with fire. And the men of Ai looked behind them, and saw the smoke of the city rising to the Shemayim. And there was no power in them to flee this way or that way, for the people who had been fled to the wilderness turned back to the pursuers. For when Yehoshua and all of Yisrael saw that the ambush had captured the city, and that the smoke of the city went up, they turned back and smote the men of Ai. The others also came out of the city against them, so that they were in the midst of Israel, some on the side and some on that side, and they smote them until none were left, and none had escaped. Welcome in, Barakatah, and Shabbat Shalawam. I'm reading from the Book of Joshua. All right, we are continuing to read chapter 8. Welcome in. Verse 23. Chapter 8, verse 23. But the sovereign of Ai they caught alive and brought him to Yehoshua. And it came to be, when Israel ended slaying all the inhabitants of Ai in the field, in the wilderness where they pursued them, and when they all had fallen by the edge of the sword until they were consumed, that all the Israelites returned to Ai and smote it with the edge of the sword. And it came to be that all who fell that day, both men and women, were 12,000, all men of Ai. And Yehoshua did not draw back his hand, with which he stretched out the spear, until he had put all the inhabitants of Ai under the ban. Only the livestock and the spoil of that city Yisrael took as booty for themselves, according to the word of Yahuah, which he had commanded Yehoshua. And Yehoshua burned Ai and made it a heap forever, and ruin to this day. And he hanged unalive the sovereign of Ai. Please put F1 in the chat for me. On a tree. So he unalived them on a tree until evening. And at sunset, Yehoshua commanded that they should take his corpse down from the tree and throw it at the entrance of the gate of the city, and raise over it a great heap of stones to this day. And Yehoshua built an altar to Yahuah, Eluah of Yisrael, in Mount Elbaal, as Mosheh the servant of Yahuah had commanded the children of Israel, as it is written in the book of the Torah of Mosheh, an altar of unhewn stones, over which no man has wedged iron. And they offered on it burnt offerings to Yahuah, and unalived peace offerings. And there, in the presence of the children of Israel, he wrote on the stones a copy of the Torah of Mosheh, which he had written. And all Israel, the sojourner as well as the native, with their elders and officers and judges, stood on either side of the ark before the Kohanim, the Levites, who bore the ark of the covenant of Yahuah. Half of them were in front of Mount Gerizim, and half of them in front of Mount Ebal, as Mosheh, the servant of Yahuah, had commanded before, that they should bless the people of Israel. And afterward he read all the words of the Torah, the Birkoth and the cursings, according to all that is written in the book of the Torah. There was not a word of all that Mosheh had commanded, which Yehoshua did not read before all the assembly of Israel, with the women and the little ones, and the sojourners who accompanied them. Hallelujah. Yada Yahuah. Barakatah, welcome in everyone. I hope and Pala you are enjoying this read. I definitely wanted to give you guys a formal welcome and Shabbat Shalawam to all those who observe this day to be Kodash, to be holy. All right, so I'm going to continue. If you like to read with me, you may come and join me and we can read together. Everyone is welcome to come up if you'd like. All right, and the water sister Eleanor for all the love in the chat. Appreciate you and all those who come to tap and share the live out so that others may hear the word and be Baruch today. All right. Yes. Wow. AI is definitely on it. This is new for me. I've never seen AI be in a live before. So I don't know if it's showing you the same thing, but apparently they are picking up on my words as we speak, and said that we are reading the book of Joshua or Yahushua, comment on chapter 8. All right. All right. Here is chapter 9 of the book of Yahushua. And it came to be, when all the sovereigns who were beyond the Jordan, in the hills and in the low country, and in all the coasts of the great sea toward Lebanon, the Hittite and the Amorite, the Canaanite and the Perizzite, the Huite and the Jebusite heard, they gathered together to fight with Yehoshua and Yashar'el with one accord. And the inhabitants of Gibeon heard what Yahushua had done to Yericho and Ai. And they acted slyly and went and pretended to be envious. And they took old sacks on their donkeys, old wineskins torn and mended, and patched sandals on their feet, and old garments on themselves. And all the bread that of their provision was dry and it was crumbs. And they went to Yahushua to the camp of Gilgal and said to him and to the men of Israel, we have come from a far land, and now make a covenant with us. But the men of Israel said to the Hivites, it could be that you dwell in our midst, so how would we make a covenant with you? And they said to Yahushua, we are your servants. And Yahushua said to them, who are you, and where do you come from? So they said to him, from a land very far off your servants have come, because of the name of Yahuah, your Eluah, for we have heard the report of him, and all that he did in Mitzrayim, and all that he had done to the two sovereigns of the Amorites, who were beyond the Jordan, to Sihon, sovereign of Heshbon, and Og, sovereign of Bashan, who was at Ashtaroth. So our elders and all the inhabitants of our land spoke to us, saying, take food with you for the journey, and go to meet them, and say to them, we are your servants, and now make a covenant with us. This bread of ours we took hot for our provisions from our houses on the day that we left to come to you. But now see, it is dry, and it is crumbly. And these wineskins which we filled were new, and see, they are torn. And these our garments and our sandals have become old because of the very long journey. And the men of Israel took some of their food, but they did not ask the word of Yahuah. And Yahushua made peace with them and made a covenant with them to let them live. And the rulers of the congregation swore to them. And it came to be at the end of 3 days, after they had made a covenant with them, that they heard they were their neighbors who dwelt near them. And the children of Israel departed and came to their cities on the 3rd day. Now their cities were Gibeon, the Kephra, and Baroth, the Quiriath, Yearim. But the children of Israel did not smite them, because the rulers of the congregation had sworn to them by Yahuah, Eluah of Israel. And all the congregation grumbled against the rulers. But all the rulers said to all the congregation, we have sworn to them, but Yahuah, Eluah of Israel, and we are unable to touch them now. Let us do this to them. We shall keep them alive, lest wrath be upon us because of the oath which we swore to them. And the rulers said to them, I just gotta say something. This just reminds me of something, and this reminds me of something. How we people of Yashar'el, we are so forgiving. We are so welcoming. We're so like welcoming. Like there's not an ounce of you're not invited with us. We're always welcoming outsiders. Come on, you sojourners. Come on, you. come and eat. We're always like that. I'm realizing that the Torah is letting me know that the things that we do is biblical too. So yeah, let's see how this plays out. All right, Shalawam and Shabbat Shalawam to all those who are coming in. The water to all those who are liking the live. I don't wish for any gifts. This is a day that we make Kodash, holy, set apart. So there should be no selling or buying. We are reading the Torah in the Book of Joshua or Yahushua. I believe it's verse 9. Yes, verse 9, chapter 9, verse 21. Shalakia. All right, let's continue this story. And the rulers said to them, again, it's verse 21. And the rulers said to them, let them live, but let them be woodcutters and drawers of the water for all the congregation, as the rulers had promised them. Then Yehoshua called for them, and he spoke to them, saying, why have you deceived us, saying, we are very far from you, yet you are dwelling in our midst? And now you are cursed, and you shall not cease from being slaves and woodcutters and drawers of water for the house of my Yahuah. And they answered Yehoshua and said, your servants were clearly told that Yahuah, your Yahuah, commanded his servant Mosheh to give you all the land, and to destroy all the inhabitants of the land from before you. So we were very much afraid of our lives, because of you, and have done this deed. And now, see, we are in your hands. Do with us as it seems good and right to do to us. And he did so to them, and delivered them out of the hand of the children of Israel. And they did not unalive them. And that day Yehoshua made them woodcutters and drawers of water for the congregation and for the altar of Yahuah, even to this day, at the place that he should choose. Wow, okay, so, all right, like, again, we our people, we are so welcoming, we are so forgiving, and this shows that, okay, even when we could have said, nope, we let them in. All right, chapter 10, we're reading from the book of Joshua or Yahushua. All right, chapter 10, verse 1. And it came to be, when Adonai Sadiq, sovereign of Yerushalayim, heard that Yehoshua had captured Ai and put it under the ban that he had done to Ai and to its sovereign, as he had done to Yeruhu and its sovereign, and that the inhabitants of Gibeon had made peace with Israel and were in their midst. And they feared greatly, because Gibeon was a great city, as one of the royal cities, and because it was greater than Ai, and all its men were mighty. And Adonai Sadiq, sovereign of Jerusalem, Yerushalayim, I have to say it slow like that, okay, sent to Hoham, sovereign of Hebron, and to Param, sovereign of Yarmuth, and to Yapia, and Shalakia, if I'm butchering these names, please forgive me, sovereign of Lachish, and to Debir, sovereign of Giglon, saying, come up to me and help me, and let us smite Gibeon, for it has made peace with Yehoshua and with the children of Israel. So the five sovereigns of the Amorites, the sovereign of Yerushalayim, the sovereign of Hebron, the sovereign of Yarmouth, the sovereign of Lachish, the sovereign of Eglon, gathered together and went up, they and all their armies, encamped before Gibeon and fought against it. And the man of Gibeon said to Yehoshua at the camp of Gilgal, saying, Do not withdraw your hand from your servants. Come up to us quickly and save us and help us, for all the sovereigns of the Amorites who dwell in the mountains have assembled against us. And Yehoshua went up from Gilgal, he and all the soldiers with him, and all the mighty brave men. And Yahuah said to Yehoshua, Do not fear them, for I have given them into your hand. Not one of them stands before you. So then Yehoshua came upon them suddenly, having gone up all night from Gilgal. And Yahuah threw them into confusion before Yashar'el. And they smote them with a great smiting at Gibeon, and pursued them along the way that goes Beth Horon, and smote them as far as Azekah and Makkedah. And it came to be, as they fled before Yashar'el, and were on the descent of Beth Horon, that Yahuah threw down large hailstones from the Shemayim on them as far as Zequa, and they unalived. There were more who died, or unalived, F1 in the chat, Shalakia, from the hailstones than those whom the sons of Yisrael had slain with the sword. Then Yehoshua spoke to Yahuah in the day when Yahuah gave the Amorites over to the children of Israel. And he said before the eyes of Israel, Sun, stand still over Gibeon, the moon in the valley of Yalan. So the sun stood still and the moon stopped, till the nation avenged itself upon their enemies. Is this not written in the book of Yashar? Thus the sun stopped in the midst of the Shemayim, and did not hasten to go down for an entire day. And there has been no day like that, before it or after it, that Yahuah listened to the voice of a man, because Yahuah fought for Yisrael. So Yehoshua returned, and all Israel with him, to the camp of Gilgal. Now these five sovereigns had fled and hidden themselves in a cave at Makkedah. And it was reported to Yehoshua, saying, The five sovereigns have been found hidden in the cave at Makkedah. And Yehoshua said, Roll large stones against the mouth of the cave, and put men by it to guard them. And you do not stand still, but pursue your enemies, and you shall smite them in the rear. Do not allow them to enter their cities, for Yahuah your Elohim has given them into your hand. And it came to be, when Yehoshua and the children of Israel had ended smiting them with a very great smiting, till they had finished, but those who escaped went into walled cities, that all the people returned to the camp of Yehoshua at Makkedah in peace. No one moved his tongue against any of the sons of Israel. Then Yehoshua said, Open the mouth of the cave, and bring out those five sovereigns to me from the cave. And they did so, and brought those five sovereigns to him from the cave. There were none of the Anakim left in the land of the children of Israel. Only in Azah, in Gath, and in Ashdod some remained. Thus Yehoshua took the entire land, according to all that Yahuah had said to Mosheh. And Yehoshua gave it as an inheritance to Israel, according to their divisions by their tribes. And the land rested from fighting. Ooh, hallelujah. I just had to stop for a minute. Shabbat Shalawam to all those who are coming in. I palau that your yam has been yapa, okay? I pray that your day has been beautiful and well rested. All right, we have 10:46 a.m. on the East Coast, so I must continue. All right, we are reading from the Book of Joshua or Yahushua, chapter 12, verse 1. And these are the sovereigns of the land whom the children of Israel smote, and whose land they possessed beyond the Jordan toward the sun rising from the Wadi Arnon to Mount Hermon, and all the desert plain eastward. Sihon sovereign the Amorites, who dwelt in Heshbon, ruling from Aroer, which is on the bank of the Wadi Arnon, from the middle of the Wadi and half Gilad, even as far as the Wadi Yabok, or Yabok, Shalakia, if I butcher these names again, the border of the children of Ammon. Verse 3. And the desert plain from the sea of Kinnoreth, eastward as far as the sea of the Arabah, the salt sea, the way to Bayeth, Yeshemoth, and southward below the slopes of Pisgah, and the border of Og, sovereign of Bashan, who was of the remnant of the Raphathites, who dwelt at Asheroth and at Edrei, and ruled in Mount Hermon, and in Salcah, and in all Bashan, as far as the border of the Geshurites, and the Machites, and the half of Gilead, as far as the border of Sion, sovereign of Heshbon. Mosheh, the servant of Yahuah, and the children of Israel had smitten them. And Mosheh, the servant of Yahuah, had given it as a possession to the Reubenites, and to the Gadites, and to half the tribe of Manasseh. And these are the sovereigns of the land which Yahushua and the children of Israel smote beyond the Jordan, on the west from Baal Gad in the valley of Lebanon, as far as Mount Halak, that goes up to Seir, which Yahushua gave to the tribes of Israel as a possession according to their divisions. In the mountain country, and in the low country, and in the desert plain, and in the slopes, and in the wilderness, and in the Negeb, the Hittites, the Amorites, the Canaanites, the Perizzites, the Hivites, and the Jebusites, the sovereign of Jericho, one, the sovereign of Ai, which is beside Bayeth El, one, the sovereign of Jerusalem, one, the sovereign of Hebron, one, the sovereign of Yarmuth, one, the sovereign of Lachish, one, the sovereign of Eglon, one, the sovereign of Jazer, one, the sovereign of Debir, one, the sovereign of Gedir, one, the sovereign of Hormah, one, the sovereign of Arad, one, the sovereign of Libnah, one, the sovereign of Adullam, one, the sovereign of Makwadah, one, the sovereign of Bayeth El, one, the sovereign of Tapua, one, the sovereign of Hepher, one, the sovereign of Akpek, one, the sovereign of Sharon, one, the sovereign of Medan, one, the sovereign of Hatzor, one, the sovereign of Moran, one, the sovereign of Aksaph, one, the sovereign Aksaph, one, the sovereign of Tanakh, one, the sovereign of Megiddo, one, the sovereign of Kadesh, one, the sovereign of Yochanim in Carmel, one, the sovereign of Dor in the heights of Dor, one, the sovereign of the nations of Gilgal, one, the sovereign of Tirzah, one, 31 sovereigns in all. Woo! Hallelujah. All right. Shalawam, shalawam. And Shabbat Shalawam to all those who observe this day as set apart and Kadesh, holy. My name is Miracle, also known as Vegan Hebrew, and I am reading the book of Joshua, or Yahushua, and we are now in the chapter 13. Okay? If you have any insights or if you want to say something, say hi, tell me what state you're in, let me know where you're tuning in from, comment that down below as I continue to read chapter 13. All right. Whew. Chapter 13 of the book of Joshua, or Yahushua, verse 1. And Yahushua was old, advanced in years, and Yahuah said to him, "You are old, advanced in years, and still much of the land remains to be possessed." That line right there. Let me repeat that. And Yahushua was old, advanced in years, and Yahuah said to him, "You are old, advanced in years, and still much of the land remains to be possessed." All right. That right there speaks volumes on how much land there was on the land and how little they got to before possessing it all. Verse 2. This is the land that remains, all the districts of the Pelashites and all the Gerishites, from Sihor, which is in front of Mizraim, and up to the border of Ekron northward, are considered as Canaanite. The 5 princes of the Pelashites, the Azatites, and the Ashdodites, the Esquilonites, the Gites, and the Ekronites, also the Awatites on the south, and the land of the Canaanites and Merah that belongs to the Zidonians, and as far as a peg to the border of the Amorites, and the land of the Gibeonites, and all Lebanon toward the sunrise from Baal God below Mount Hermon, as far as the entrance to Hamath, all the inhabitants of the mountains from Lebanon, as far as the Misrapoth Maim, and all the Zonodians. I myself drive them out from before the children of Israel, only divided by lot to Israel as an inheritance, as I have commanded you. And now divide this land as an inheritance to the 9 tribes, and half the tribes of Manasseh. With them, the other half tribe, the Reubenites and the Gadites, received their inheritance, which Mosheh had given them, beyond the Jordan, eastward, as Mosheh, the servant of Yahuah, had given them. From Aror, which is on the bank of the Wadi Arnon, and the city that is in the middle of the Wadi, and all the plain of Medeba, as far as Dibon, and all the cities of Sihon, sovereign of the Amorites, who reigned in Heshbon, as far as the border of the children of Ammon, and Gilead, and the border of Gershites, and of the Maccathites, and all Mount Hermon, and all Bashan, as far as Salcah, all the reign of Og in Bashan, who reigned in Asatroth, and Edrei, who remained of the remnant of the Rapides, for Mosheh had smitten and dispossessed them. However, the children of Yisrael did not drive out the Gershites, nor the Maccathites. So the Gershites and the Maccathites dwell in the midst of Israel to this day. Only to the tribe of Levi he gave no inheritance. The offerings made by fire to Yahuah, Eluah of Israel, were their inheritance, as he said to them. And Mosheh gave to the tribes of the children of Reuben for their clans, and their borders was from Aror, which is on the bank of the Wadi Arnon, and the city that is in the middle of the Wadi, and all the plain by Medeba, Heshbon, and all its cities that are in the plain, Dibon and Bamoth, Baal and Baal Meon, and Yatsah and Quedemoth and Mepaath and Quiryathayim and Sibmah and Sereth Shahar on the mountain of the valley, and Beth Peor and the slopes of Pisgah, and Beth Yishmoth, and all the cities of the tableland, and all the reign of Sihon sovereign of the Amorites who reigned in Heshbon, whom Mosheh had smitten with the princes of Midian. Iwi and Requem and Sur and Hur and Reba, princes of Shihon, dwelling in the land. And the sons of Yashar'el, unalived with the sword Bilam, sword of Beor, the diviner, among those who were unalived by them. Verse 23. And the border of the children of Reuben was the bank of the Jordan. This was the inheritance of the children of Reuben for their clans, the cities and their villages. And Mosheh gave to the tribe of Gad, to the children of Gad, for their clans. And their border was Yazir, and all the cities of Gilead, and half the land of the children of Ammon, as far as Aror, which is before Rabbah. And from Heshbon to Ramoth, Mitzpah, and Petanim, and from Mahanaim to the border of Debir, and in the valley Beth Haram, and Beth Nimrah, and Succoth, and Saphon, the rest of the reign of Sihon, sovereign of Heshbon, the Jordan being its border, as far as the edge of the sea of Kinnereth, beyond the Jordan eastward. This is the inheritance of the children of Gad, for their clans, the cities, and their villages, and Mosheh gave to half the tribe of Manasseh, and it was for half the tribe of the children of Manasseh for their clans. And their border was from Mahanaim, all Bashan, all the reign of Og, sovereign of Bashan, and all the small towns of Yair, which are in Bashan, 60 cities, and the half of Gilead, and Ashtaroth, and Edrei, cities of the reign of Og, and Bashan, were for the children of Machir, son of Manasseh, to the half of the children of Machir for their clans. These Mosheh gave as an inheritance in the desert plains of Moab, beyond the Jordan of Jericho, eastward. But to the tribe of Levi, Mosheh gave no inheritance. Yahuah, Eluah of Yisrael, he was their inheritance, as he had said to them. Ooh, hallelujah. The water, everyone, for getting through that chapter. Okay, names in Hebrew has definitely given me a tongue twister. So Shalakia family. Oh, we have a guest. Welcome in, Alex. Shabbat Shalawam. All right. You could come back up if you want, Alex. And shalom to everyone here. My name is Miracle, also known as Vegan Hebrew, and today, on this Kodash day, the set-apart day, we are reading the Book of Joshua or Yehoshua, and I'm reading from the Hallelujah Scriptures. In about maybe 2 chapters, I am going to wrap it up And I don't know when we'll meet again. But whenever we do, we'll pick it back up. I'll let you guys know ahead of time this time, all right? All right. So we finished that chapter. Let's see. We are on chapter 14, I believe. Yes. All right. We are on chapter 15 in the book of Yahushua, verse 1. Now these are the children of Yisrael, inherited in the land of Canaan, which Eleazar, the Kohen of Yehoshua, son of Nun, and the heads of the fathers of the tribes of the children of Israel, caused them to inherit. Their inheritance was by lot, as Yahuah had commanded by the hand of Mosheh, for the 9 tribes and the half-tribe. For Mosheh had given the inheritance of the 2 tribes and the half-tribe beyond the Jordan. But to the Lewites, he gave no inheritance in their midst. For the children of Joseph had become 2 tribes, Manasseh and Ephraim, and they gave no part to the Lewites in the land, except cities to dwell in, with their open land for their livestock and their possessions. As Yahuah had commanded Mosheh, so the children of Israel did, and they divided the land. And the children of Yehudah came to Yehoshua in Gilgal, and Caleb, son of Yephuneh, the Quiznite, said to him, "You know the word which Yahuah said to Mosheh, the man of the man of Eluah, concerning you and me in Kadesh Barnea. I was 40 years old when Mosheh, the servant of Yahuah, sent me from Kadesh Barnea to spy out the land, and I brought back the word to him as it was in my heart. But my brothers who went up with me made the heart of the people melt. But I followed Yahuah my Eluah completely." So Mosheh swore on that day, saying, "The land on which your foot has trodden is your inheritance, and your children's forever, because you have followed Yahuah my Eluah completely." Completely is the word, okay? Verse 10. And now see, Yahuah has kept me alive, as he said, these 45 years since Yahuah spoke this word to Mosheh, while Yisrael walked in the wilderness. And now see, I am 85 years old today. Yet I am still as strong today as I was on the day that Mosheh sent me. As my strength was then, so my strength is now, for battle, and for going out, and from coming in. And now give me this mountain of which Yahuah spoke in that day, for you heard in that day how the Anakim were there, and that the cities were great and walled. If Yahuah is with me, then I shall dispossess them, as Yahuah said. Yehoshua then Baruch him, blessed him, and gave Hebron to Caleb, son of Yephuneh, Shalakia, as an inheritance. So Hebron became the inheritance of Caleb, son of Yephuneh, the Quiznite, to this day, because he followed Yahuah, Eluah of Yisrael, completely. Now the name of Hebron was formerly Kirath Arba, the greatest man among Anakim, and the land had rest from fighting. Shalawam and Shabbat Shalawam family that's coming in. Please tap that screen if you can. Please no gifts on this Kodash set apart day. I am reading from the book of Joshua or Yahushua in the Hallelujah Scriptures. All right, we are on chapter 15. As promised, I will do chapter 15 and I will leave you off on chapter 16. And in times where I can read again, I will let you guys know ahead of time. All right. Chapter 15. Verse 1. And the lot of the tribe of the children of Yehudah for their clans was to the border of Edom, the wilderness of Sin, southward in the extreme south. And their southern border began at the edge of the Salt Sea, from the bay that faces southward. And it went out to the southern side of the ascent of Aquarbim, passed over to Sin, and went up on the south side of Kadesh Barnea, and passed over to Hetzron, went up to Adar, and went around to Qarqa, and passed over to Atzmon, and went out to the Wadi of Mizraim, and the border ended at the sea. This is your southern border. And the east border was the Salt Sea, as far as the end of the Jordan, and the border on the northern quarter began at the bay of the sea at the end of the Jordan, and the border went up to Beth Hogla, and passed over north of Beth Araba, and the border went up to the stone of Bohan, son of Reuben. And the border went up toward Debir from the valley of Achor, and it turned northward toward Gilgal, which is before the ascent of Adumim, which is south of the Wadi. And the border passed over to the waters of En Shemesh, and ended at En Rogel. And the border went up by the valley of Ben Hinnom to the southern slope of the Jebusite city, that is Yerushalayim. And the border went up to the top of the mountain that lies before the valley of Hinnom westward, which is at the end of the valley of Rephaim northward. And the border went around from the top of the hill to the fountain of the water of Neptoah, and went up to the cities of Mount Ephron. And the border went around to Baalah, that is Kurath Yearim. And the border turned around from Baalah westward to Mount Seir, and passed over to the side of Mount Yearim on the north, that is Kesalon, and went down to Beth Shemesh, and passed over to Timnah. And the border went out to the side of Ekron northward, and the border went around to Kiron, and passed over to Mount Baalah, and went out to Yabneel, and the border ended at the sea. And the west border was the coastline of the great sea. This is the boundary of the children of Yehudah, all around for their clans. And to Caleb, son of Jephunneh, he gave a portion in the midst of the children of Yehudah, according to the command of Yahuah to Yehoshua. Quirath Araba, that is Hebron Arba, was the father of Anaki. And Caleb drove out the three sons of Anaki from there, Shishai and Iman and Talmah, the children of Anak. And he went up from there to the inhabitants of Debri. And the name of Debri formerly was Kirjath Sephar. And Caleb said, He who smites Kirjath Sephar and shall capture it, to him I shall give Aksa, my daughter, and as wife. And Othniel, son of Kenaz, the brother of Caleb, captured it, so he gave him Aksa, his daughter, as wife. And it came to be, when she came to him, that she persuaded him to ask her father for a field. And when she got off from the donkey, Caleb said to her, What is the matter? And she said, Give me a barakah. Since you have given me land in the Negeb, give me also fountains of water. And he gave her the upper fountains and the lower fountains. This was the inheritance of the tribe of the children of Yehudah, for their clans. And the cities at the furthest border of the tribe of the children of Yehudah, toward the border of Edom and the Negeb, were Quabsiel, and Eder, and Yegor, and Quina, and Domina, and Adaga, and Quedesh, and Hatzor, and Yithnan, Sif, and Telem, and Baaloth, and Hasor, Hadattah, and Quirioth, Hetzron, that is Hatzor, Aman, and Shema, and Moladah, and Hatzar, Gadah, and Hashmon, and Beeth Pelet, and Hatzar, Shaol, Shalawam, and Shabbat Shalawam daughter, and Beersheba, and Biz-Yaphia, Bala, and Liam, and Esteem, and Elot-Lad, and Kisel, and Hormah, and Tisaglag, and Madmena, and Senana, and Labath, and Shillim, and Ayin, and Ramon. All the cities were with 29 with their villages. In the low country, Ashtal, and Sora, and Ashna, and Zanawa, and Ian, Gunim, Tapua, and Enam, Yarmuth, and Adullam, Sukkot, and Azekah, and Sharayim, and Adith Yayim, and Gerida, and Gerida, I'm sorry, Shalakia. Gerida, and Giderothim, 14 cities with their villages. Sanan, and Hadashah, and Midgal, Gad, and Dillon, and Mitzvah, and Yoquel, Yokviel, Lachish, and Botzquath, and Eglon, and Kaban, and Lamam, and Kithlish, and Geridroth, Beeth Dagon, and Nama, and Makwada, 16 cities with their villages. Lebna, and Ether, and Ashan, and Yiptha, and Ashana, and Netzib, and Quila, or Quiila, and Aksib, and Marisha, 9 cities with their villages. Ekron with its towns and its villages, from Ekron to the sea, all that were by the side of Ashdod with their villages. Ashdod, its towns and its villages, Asah, its towns and its villages, as far as the Wadi of Mizraim and the Great Sea, with its coastline. And in the mountain country, Shamir, and Yatir, and Sukkot, and Danah, and Kiryath Sanah, that is Debir, and Anab, Eshtemoth, and Anim, and Goshen, and Halan, and Gilo, 11 cities with their villages. Arab, and Duma, and Eshan, and Yanim, and Beeth Tapua, and Aqua, and Humta, and Quirath Arba, that is Hebron, and Seor, 9 cities with their villages. Maon, Carmel, and Ziph, and Utah, and Yisrael, and Yakdiam, and Zanoah, Quin, Gaba, and Timnah, 10 cities with their villages. Halhol, Beeth Sor, and Gedor, and Ma'arath, and Beeth Anath, and Etzelquan, 6 cities with their villages. Quiryath Baal, that is Quayath, Yearim, and Rabbah, 2 cities with their villages. In the wilderness, Beth Araba, Midden, and Sekaka, and Nibshan, and the city of Salt, and in Gedi, 6 cities with their villages. As for the Ubacites, the inhabitants of Yerushalayim. There we go. Hallelujah. Okay. Yahuah is definitely guiding me today on these names. The children of Yehuda were unable to drive them out, so the Ubacites have dwelt with the children of Yehuda at Yerushalayim to this day. Hallelujah. And last but not least, we're going to end off with chapter 16. Again, I will definitely post before I go live to let you all know. It might not be next Shabbat, depending on circumstances. So I will definitely let you know when I go live again. And Shabbat Shalawam to all those coming in and all those leaving out. I allow that you all have a beautiful Yapa Yam today as we finish chapter 16. All right. Chapter 16, verse 1. And the lot for the children of Joseph went out from the Jordan by Jericho to the waters of Jericho on the east, to the wilderness going up from Jericho through the mountains of Beth El, and went out from Beth El to Luz, and passed over to the border of Archites at Ataroth, and went down westward to the boundary of the Lepatites, as far as the boundary of lower Beth Horon to Gezer, and it ended at the sea. Thus the children of Joseph, Manasseh, and Ephraim inherited. And the border of the children of Ephraim, according to their clans, was the border of the inheritance on the east side was Ataroth Adar, as far as upper Beth Horon. And the border went out toward the sea to Matayath on the north, and the border went around eastward to Ta'anath, Silo, and passed over it on the east of Yanahah, and went down from Yanahah to Ataroth, and Naarah reached to Jericho, and came out at the Jordan. From Tapua, the border went westward to the Wadi Qana, and it ended at the sea. This was the inheritance of the tribe of the children of the Shalake. This was the inheritance of the tribe of the children of Ephraim for their clans. And the separate cities for the children of Ephraim were in the midst of the inheritance of the children of Manasseh, all the cities with their villages. And they did not drive out the Canaanites who dwelt in Gezer. So the Canaanites dwelt among the Ephraimites to this day, and have become compulsory labor. All right, so let's see how many more chapters do we have. Okay, we ended at 16. We have 17 to 24. Not bad. I could continue, but I won't. I'm going to do as the Father told me to do and pray. Alrighty. The water for all those who came and joined in. The water for all of you who listened to the Torah and even read with me, whether it was up here on the live or in your own homes. I would like to say a little prayer before I go. And this prayer is for strength, courage, and obedience, actually inspired by Yahushua, all right. Yahuah, Eloah of hosts, I come before you with humility and trust, knowing that you are faithful to every promise you have spoken, just as you told your servant Yehoshua to be strong and very courageous. I ask you to place that same strength and that same courage within me and all of Mishpaca listening today. Strength to obey your commands, courage to walk in righteousness, and endurance to keep going even when the battle looks too big. Yahuwah, drive out every fear, every doubt, every voice that rises against your will for our life. Let me know that you go before me, you stand beside me, and you fight for me. Teach me to keep my ruach, my spirit, my temple clean, my heart pure, and my thoughts focused on your word, just as you instructed Yahushua to meditate on the Torah day and night, just as you instructed Mosheh that he guided the children of Israel out of bondage. Let every Jericho wall in my life fall by your power. Let every enemy that rises against me and the children of Israel in this life scatter before your presence. Let every promise you spoke come to pass in its time. Yahusha, my deliverer and king, my Messiah, Hamashiach, guide my steps, speak to my spirit, and lead me into the inheritance you have prepared. As for me and my house, we will serve Yahuwah with joy, with faith, with unwavering devotion to you and you above. I say, hallelujah, hallelujah, hallelujah. All right, family, Mishpaca, I applaud you continuing to have a beautiful, beautiful Shabbat. Shabbat Shalom. You'll see me in these TikTok streets, probably listening in onto somebody's live as they read Torah as well. All right, Shalom and be Baruch today.